my most fun thing. I don't know what to say. My most fun thing is to get you here.
Oh, bless your heart. Thank you so
I'm gonna
much.
say that. So I'm all excited. You're seeing me all. If you have not seen my first 2 segments with this person, this is Rick Garrett, the Tenderloin Guy himself. And like I said, I have just been looking forward to this. We talked about making this a regular thing,
Yes,
and it's
yes.
obvious we're on track to do that.
Right.
So if I seem extra excited, not just because I get to taste snack food, but because I don't do it alone, it's always better
That's
with
so
somebody
sweet.
else.
Yeah, it is fun with somebody else to get different viewpoints on the food. Not everybody's palate is the same. You know, we all like kind of different things. So.
Absolutely. And no, it just, I think what's interesting about it is I don't even really like mentally plan this. Sometimes I'm out and I start spotting stuff.
Right.
And I can't help it. And I'm looking, it's like, oh, okay. Now the only disappointing thing is you have to put it aside and then I have to wait until I've gathered enough stuff and bring you along.
Right.
So I'm going to actually, we'll talk as we go as
Okay,
usual.
that
It's a
sounds
lot
great.
of fun. Now I'm going to stick my hand in the bag and see what I come up with.
It's a mystery. We don't know what's coming. Ooh.
How's that look to you? Showing him first. It is from Trader Joe's. I love the Trader Joe's stuff. You go to, I say repeatedly, you go to this end cap they have, and they always have these new things. This is peanut butter caramel coated popcorn. It's actually vegan, which is finding like vegan caramel corn is really difficult. See what that looks like? But I thought this was another thing kind of right up your alley too, because you love popcorn.
I do love popcorn.
I think we had that popcorn in the last taste.
Yes,
and
it was.
Did you end up going and getting some more of that? I think
Not yet.
Oh, no?
It's on our list though.
Okay, because I knew that that was the one where you actually texted and asked for a picture of the back.
Right.
Ooh, it smells like peanut butter. Here.
Oh goodness! Oh, that smells amazing.
Yeah.
I wish you could smell through the screen.
Yeah, what's every once in a while the thing, the people who do snack reviews and tastings and things and say they've got to have smell-o-vision at some point, you know. Okay, so guests first.
So here's what it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like a cute little something.
It almost looks like a corn nut.
But a little, okay.
Like the texture.
Yeah, it's really crunchy.
It is very crunchy. Peanut butter is the first taste I got.
Well, what's weird is when I got like a tiny hit of sweetness, and then the peanut butter started following, and now I'm tasting the sweet, like from the caramel.
Yeah, the caramel is definitely like an aftertaste, but that's really, really good.
It is coming in there, and it is very sweet, so I'm going to say that.
Right.
Because I was thinking maybe the peanut butter would cut some of the sweetness, but it does taste like traditional caramel corn.
It does.
It actually really does. So kudos to Trader Joe's on that one.
That's really good.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to do. And I guess in my case, I haven't had caramel corn in a million years.
Right.
So
what's the serving size on that?
the whole bag. It says a half a cup. It says there's 6 servings per container.
Okay. 130 calories per serving, it looks like.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I said, the problem is, you can see the size of the bag. I call this the big nosher serving.
Right. Yeah, I would eat a whole bag of that.
Yeah, I mean, and you can kind of look in and see, you could easily go through a whole bag of this.
That's really good. I would absolutely buy that.
Oh, okay. Well, you'll have to make, you're going to be making this big Trader Joe's list. It's right? I think Trader Joe's is really good to me about new items all the time.
They've got unique stuff you can't find someplace else.
Yeah, they have really good stuff. I think they try very hard. I mean, some stuff has been a miss for me. That one's interesting because, like I said, I haven't had caramel corn in a long time. And it's kind of one of those things, you ever watch something and, people are eating something specific and they're talking about how good it is.
Right.
And you want to go, I got to get some of that. I can't. And so if it's caramel corn now.
Really good. Vegan caramel corn. That's right. And that's also gluten-free, right?
Gluten-free, yeah.
Right.
So that's a really good thing.
Was that, I didn't notice, was that Trader Joe's store brand?
Yes. Yeah, I think most everything there is.
Okay.
Like I said, they're really good about that. I haven't seen anything comparable anywhere else.
Right.
So, again, kudos to them coming up with that. And also, again, they do, we found a lot of the stuff we've tried there.
Right.
So,
it's great.
Yeah, so another popcorn thing. And I do have to add to that for anybody, I mean, because we were talking about how crispy it was.
Right.
That's another good thing, because one of the things, sometimes, I'm going to say packaged caramel corn versions end up chewy.
Right. Right.
They don't end up with that kind of fresh caramel corn, popcorn taste. You kind of know what I mean.
Very crispy.
Yeah, so that they succeeded with that too. You don't have that. I don't even know. I mean, maybe calling it chewiness is correct.
It is. I think it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because so that's a really good thing, and yeah, it's not too sticky. It's not stuck in my teeth.
No, it's really good. It's good. So I'm not vegan, but I would buy that.
Yeah.
That's how good it was.
Oh, okay. So I mean, and would you, if you? I was going to say, obviously, I guess maybe if you had real genuine caramel corn, you might go for that, or would you go for this?
Oh, that was really good. I like that because, like you mentioned, caramel corn can be really chewy and stick to your teeth sometimes. That doesn't have that. It's crunchy, got a nice crunch to it. And I don't really crave sweets. I don't like go buy a candy bar. Mm-hmm. My thing is crunchy. I like crunchy snacks. Yeah. So that was perfect. Mm-hmm. That's a perfect snack for me.
Yeah, so of course we have to revert to your rating system.
Yeah, that would...
I definitely, and for anybody who hasn't seen, I'm sorry, I do have to explain it. You came up with the most adorable thing for food. You have a rating scale, 1 to 5 bites.
1 to 5 bites. That's a 5-biter right there. That was good. That was really good.
Yeah, and for me, I would definitely, I think just because... I don't know what it takes for something to really be a 5 for me with that. I'd still say maybe because since it's not my first go-to thing, something that sweet, I would definitely give it a 4 though. Yeah. I would definitely get it again, but it wouldn't be, if I had a choice between that and maybe something else, maybe I'd still pick that something else. But yeah, so it's still really high in the bites.
Yeah. I really like it.
We're going to be talking about that one for a while. It's just like, okay. So anyway, I'll go in the kitchen.
See what else we got in there.
See what else.
It's like Santa reaching into his bag.
Okay, this is another Trader Joe's.
Okay, this looks awesome. I am very excited about this. Yes.
Okay, because this is one of those ones I saw there, and it is called Trader Joe's Peanuts in a Pickle. Dill pickle flavored Virginia peanuts. Now, I definitely, a lot of times, if I wasn't doing these reviews, I would not get this.
Right.
It's not something that would, I go, okay, I'm going to try it. Right. But because I know we sit down and do this, I'm trying to find interesting things.
Right.
I mean, how you can't review every different bag of corn chips,
right?
Okay. Right. So anything that looked interesting, and this again was on the end cap with the news stuff. And I saw it staring at me.
Yeah.
And I said, if anything, Rick and I have to do this one.
Right.
And so...
2 of my favorite things, dill pickle flavoring. I love dill pickle potato chips and things like that. And peanuts. Like I said, I'm a crunchy guy.
I don't know.
Well, it doesn't smell very dill pickly.
No, it doesn't. I'm trying to figure out what that is.
Yeah, it's got a very unique smell to it.
I'm going to see if I can... No, that didn't make any difference. You know what I mean? Sometimes you're shaking it up and...
It's got a very, what I would call an earthy smell to it.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm not crazy about the aroma.
No.
It's not, I wouldn't call it objectionable, but it's like...
I don't know. It's puzzling, maybe.
It is puzzling.
Because you know how we've talked about if there's... the name of the food, really, it ought to be in the food or whatever. Right. If you've got garlic chicken, you expect garlic.
Right.
And, somehow I'm like, dill pickle or whatever, you're expecting to smell something that at least resembles what you are about to eat.
Right.
This doesn't. So that is kind of interesting. I'm going to dispense.
Yeah, that'd be fine. So they look just like peanuts.
Yeah.
No, that smell it's bugging me.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? All right.
Oh, and they're not salted, right?
I don't know. I just read pickle.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm tasting it.
Trader Joe's, we love you.
Yeah, but
we really do.
But I'm tasting that smell. And I'm getting a vinegar at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
But mostly, that smell that we're talking about that's kind of puzzling? That's the taste I'm getting.
Not crazy about these.
I am.
Yeah, she's putting them back in the bag.
No, and see again, because Trader Joe's will take these back.
Right. So don't taste the dill. I don't taste dill at all. I mean, not even 1%. Just can't. It tastes like peanuts with some.
I'm not even getting a lot of peanut because
Yeah.
it's being obscured by that thing that we can't identify.
I'll tell you what this tastes like to me. Artificial. It tastes artificial.
No, you know what I'm getting. This is what's going through my mind. You watch the Andy Griffith Show?
Oh my gosh, I love that show.
Okay. Do you remember? And if this is for you out there too, you might be thinking this. You remember the episode where Aunt Bee made her homemade pickles?
Aunt Bee's kerosene pickles.
Okay. I always wondered what that might taste like. I think we just
Our look was probably the look of the judges' faces on the county fair. I don't know if you remember that scene or not.
Yes, I do. So I think we have just tasted Aunt Bee's kerosene cucumbers. Oh my gosh.
Now, if you have tried these, we'd love to hear what you think of them. You may love them.
Yeah, I mean, it's just interesting how I'm tasting that smell that we couldn't identify.
Right.
And that's just got to be. You'll love that.
It does, it's got a little bit of a petroleum. When you drive by a petroleum, like a processing plant, it doesn't smell like gasoline. It's got that.
Yeah, and I'm exhaling. When I'm inhaling out through my mouth, I'm tasting that. That's exactly it. Oh, I think we've stumbled on this.
I don't do this very often. You probably want to know how many bites I'm going to give this.
0.
It's a big 0.
Yeah. Although you took more bites than I did. I can't believe you ate the rest of those. That was so bad. No, literally. Maybe they ought to rebrand these Aunt Bee's carrots.
Aunt Bee's. I bet they would sell a ton of those because that's such a popular show.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the only thing I can imagine that's what.
Oh.
It's interesting to have something to identify.
Yeah.
It and really explain. I love to use TV as the examples. Okay, so I wasn't going to jump right in. We got to get this taste out of our mouths. Let's see. It can only get better. Okay.
Ooh.
This one came from. This one actually came from Market District. And I saw it sitting there, and it's like cauliflower bites. That looks weird enough for us to do. I think we're right, people. Okay, so let's see if this is the.
These are sea salt flavor.
Sea salt, yeah.
So I love sea salt.
They had, I think, at the thing which obviously I couldn't eat. They had ranch, I believe, and cheese. So that's something to consider. Right. Okay, it definitely smells like cauliflower.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So I don't know if that's off-putting or not for a snack.
No, it just smells like cauliflower.
Yeah, okay. Go. I think we're going to be back at that popcorn trying to kill the peanuts.
So it looks like, well, it's a piece of cauliflower.
Yeah, dried out, kind of. There you go.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers. I feel like my mouth, like doing that too much salt kind of.
Yeah. It's not bad. I like, so it's crunchy on the outside. It's got a nice crunch when you first bite into it. But
salty on the inside and on the outside. Oh my goodness.
But on the inside, it's a little, would you say mushy?
I don't know. I was going to say grainy.
Yeah, it's just, I like the initial texture, but once you start chewing it, it's not that.
I could, you know what, I can't get past, on this one, I can't get past that salt.
I'm not noticing that, but I don't have a high,
I
know.
think it's one of the things that we're going to have to remember. We're just got beverages when we're doing this.
The look on your face. So, if I was going to rate that one, I would give it a 1. It's edible. I wouldn't buy it again.
No. No.
Yeah.
Not at all. And again, it's one of those things where who knows, maybe the ranch one would taste differently.
Right.
The cheese one. It's hard to say. I think, and I know you said you didn't notice it. For me, I'm going to call this really heavy-handed on the salt. I get that sea salt's the flavor, but there still is always a threshold of too much. There's just you want salt to bring out the flavor of what you're eating.
That's a really good point.
Not be the dominant everything, just taking over your mouth. It's like you've got these taste buds that recognize different things, and it has every taste bud screaming. I mean, the sweet's picking up the salt. It's that intense. Yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of on a 1 on that too. I got one bite out of it, and that's about all of it.
Now I know if you don't like something at Trader Joe's, they will take it back.
Yeah.
Do you know if Market District
Market District will, they'll be nice about it. If, I guess, if I went back in there with an empty bag and say, here, we hated it,
right.
That wouldn't go.
That's like sending a meal back at the restaurant after you've eaten the entire meal and say it was
bad.
Right.
Have you seen, you do stuff in the restaurant.
I do.
Have you seen that?
I have not seen it firsthand, but, I have a lot of friends in the restaurant business, management, owners, servers, and it actually happens more often than I had any idea until I started kind of working with restaurants. It happens really often, and it seems to be happening a lot more over the last year or so. People are becoming more bold about, almost finishing a meal, then sending back, say this was not good. Can I have another? Can you take it off of my bill? When I review a sandwich, I can tell after a bite or two if I'm going to like it or not, if it's good or not. So, and it's also, part of it is in restaurants is when you order something new, you take a chance because you don't know if you're going to like it or not. Right. And I think if I order something new, a completely foreign dish to me, I would never send it back because I don't know what to expect. Now, if I order a breaded tenderloin sandwich, I know what they're supposed to taste like, so I know if I've got a bad one or not.
And I think too, especially like if you've been to a restaurant that I almost want to say even specializes in something, and you've gotten it multiple times, and you've gotten one that's not really up to the standard.
Right.
Now. That kind of brings an interesting question because, like I said, I go through your blogs.
Right.
And when you get one that you don't like, that you're giving a low bite, the ones we're reading about, you've never mentioned whether or not you've sent it back and gotten something else. Have you usually finished it off anyway?
No, I'll finish it off. I'll finish it off because there's a difference in something not being to my personal taste. I would send something back if it tasted rancid, spoiled. Okay. Or if it was obviously, way over or undercooked.
That's what I was going to get.
If the pork was pink in the middle, don't eat pink pork.
Okay, so I'm like because I think the one that comes to mind, you'll talk about that the breading was overdone or something.
Right.
So was that sent back?
That one was not. I know which one you're talking about because it was just a little bit overdone.
Okay.
But I mean, there's a point where something there's overdone and then there's burnt. Something burnt will go back.
We'll go back. So aside from, just those things, have you ever had something that I almost want to say, on a personal taste, you just knew you weren't going to be able to get down, so you asked them if you could get something different?
That's a great question. I don't think so. I've got a cast iron stomach. I can pretty much choke anything down.
But some of that too, you'd have to have a cast iron mouth.
That's true. If
you think about it.
Yeah.
We just swallowed a couple things that my mouth really didn't like, but my stomach hasn't.
Right.
I haven't. It hasn't made a return appearance for it yet.
And if it does, we'll catch it on camera.
Oh, that'll be fun. I've never seen anybody actually. No, the closest I've come to that. You watch Restaurant Impossible?
Yes.
Okay. This is a series with Robert Irvine, and he goes to failing restaurants and they have what is it, 48 hours and $10,000 to get the business
Right.
up and going or whatever. And sometimes he always does a tasting of what they serve. And you'll see, he will spit stuff out. And I'm always like, oh, God, you know, I have to remember not to watch this while I'm eating.
Right.
Because he'll taste something, go, you know, and you see him spitting food out, and I'm like, oh, you know. Oh, my God. But actually seeing those things makes me wonder, you know, about the restaurants that are doing well, what they look like in the kitchen or something. Do you ever get that feeling?
I do, yeah.
So.
There's been a couple of, there was a recent restaurant that Holly and I went to, that's my wife, and we walked in and it was so filthy, we're like, we're not even going to attempt to have a meal here.
Really?
You know, so,
have you blogged about at least where that is to warn people, or?
I have told some people, because I belong to a semi-private group of food reviewers and tasters and so on. So, and you know, I'm a guy that lived single by himself for years and years. So if I think a restaurant is dirty, it's gonna be dirty.
Yeah, you gotta go in there like Robert Irvine.
Exactly.
This is the worst place I've ever seen.
My guy is, I don't know if you watch Gordon Ramsay or not.
No.
I didn't even know who Gordon Ramsay was till probably 6 months ago. And somebody sent me a video of him, and I've got like completely hooked. So I've been going through all of his old shows and so on.
And what does he do then?
So he kind of the same thing as a Restaurant Impossible. He'll go into restaurants, taste their menu, you know, advise them. I mean, they don't have like 48 hours. It's more of a long-term thing. But just tell them how they can kind of get back on track, attract more customers. He
doesn't go in there with the sledgehammer.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's one thing about Robert. He goes in there. He likes to break things. Yeah.
I don't know if you do. I don't know if you do TikTok or not.
No.
But Gordon Ramsay does this. He's got a really fun TikTok channel where people will do their homemade recipes and he rates them as they're cooking. It's really fun.
Yeah. Until somebody doesn't like how he rates it.
Right.
And they probably don't,
Yeah.
You know, because that was one thing that you see a lot where somebody will give Robert Irvine, this is my, you know, grandmother's recipe.
Right.
And, you know, he has to say, sorry, your grandmother's recipe sucked or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's an interesting thing because I'm not in that category. I'm honest about this. But most people think that their mothers and grandmothers could cook even if they couldn't.
Right. Right.
You know, I'll leave it there.
I have some family members that cook really, really well, and I have some that I'll just not say anything because they may watch this.
Exactly. I am, you know. I'm sorry, but mixing canned mushroom soup into anything that you have lying around is not cooking, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I still to this day I hate that canned mushroom
like
soup.
that cream of mushroom.
I think it's evil.
Yeah.
I just think, you know, I mean, here it's the sauce for everything. It's like, no, it isn't.
Right.
And I know we're going to get people, well, I love that stuff. Good. What is that? If you love it, great.
Right.
You know,
Right.
We always have that. Speaking of loving and hating things, I think we talked about this, but this is more from childhood. Was there something that, as a kid, it seemed like every other child liked and you hated?
Oh gosh. So my family was from East Tennessee, and we were very much meat and potatoes. The first time I had pizza, I hated it. I'm like, because I don't like for a long time, I've got a lot better about this, but I grew up where your food did not touch.
Oh.
And suddenly here's bread and sauce and cheese and meat all touching. I'm like, that's hideous. Get that away from me, Satan. I don't want to see this. Well, now I love pizza. But, you know, as a teenager, everybody ate pizza. Mm-hmm. I just didn't care for it. Well, now I can't get enough pizza.
Yeah, and I think probably, and this goes into my adulthood, when I was a kid, it seemed like they all liked tomato soup. And I couldn't stand that. Another thing was actually ketchup.
Really?
Same deal, though. But, you know, it seemed like, so on the reverse, was there anything every other kid seemed to hate, but you didn't mind? They thought you were weird.
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf?
Seemed like all my kids hated meatloaf because that was like one of the staples growing up. I still love meatloaf.
Okay, I have to say that because I always hated that myself.
Yeah.
It just, well, and it might have just been back to, we were talking about people who can't cook. I never had any meatloaf that I thought tasted good. I mean, I've been served meat. See, meatloaf is one of those things where if you say you don't like it, or when you say you don't like it, somebody says inevitably, well, that's because you haven't tried mine. And if anything, being vegan at least has gotten me out of that, where people are like wanting to foist their grandmother's meatloaf on me or something, because you haven't tried mine yet. You haven't tried mine yet. I'm like, ooh. So yeah, I that was something I never cared for. Believe it or not, for me as a kid, and I didn't realize this till like I got to school and you had school cafeteria food. I seemed to be the only kid that ate the vegetables. I didn't realize that kids didn't really like vegetables. And I did. I liked them just fine. Everybody thought I was weird.
Growing up, I hated green beans because my mom always cooked them until they were kind of mushy. You know what I mean? Really overcooked.
Dead.
I'm a big texture guy when it comes to food. Texture really is important to me. And my wife cooked green beans very, is it al dente?
Al dente.
Is that the term? Mm-hmm. They got a little crunch to them. And now I love green beans, but they got to be...
I like them somewhere in between.
Right.
Because I love raw vegetables. I actually do. Some of them don't go down for me very well raw. And with green beans for me, if there's even a hint of that rawness, I don't care for it.
Oh, okay.
But, things like broccoli or cauliflower, I love raw.
Right.
I prefer raw carrots to cooked carrots. Although, I don't mind if you've added cooked carrots to something, but I don't like carrots that have been frozen because that texture just is weird.
Right.
So we have all that. All right, so we have one more.
And that's another thing with vegetables growing up. Everything we had either was canned or frozen. So didn't really have, fresh vegetables
flavor,
till I was an adult.
Well, kind of that too, because we had everything. It was either canned or frozen.
Right.
And some of the frozen stuff, I always say it didn't translate well.
Right.
The texture just got... I think carrots got kind of chewy and didn't taste like carrots. And lima beans always got dried out. And it's some stuff. So anyway, here, cashew butter cashews.
Cashew butter cashews.
This is the we have reached our final review today, So this, I'm hoping, this doesn't have an easy open, so wish me luck.
I do like cashews. What's your favorite nut?
Let's see. Let's stop pistachio, maybe?
Pistachios are good. I like Brazil nuts.
You know what's funny? I do too. Now, see, okay, so that's another one of those things where most people do not like them.
Right.
But you have to be careful because, literally you can get too much something in there. It just smells like cashew.
Yeah, it just smells
I'm
like
cashew. I do this because I'm big on aroma. I know you like to
right.
see what you've got. So go ahead and see
All
what
right.
you got.
Well, this has a really interesting feel to it.
Okay, yeah, it's coated in cashew butter. I will say this. Whatever this is, it can't be any worse than anything we've eaten today.
All right.
Yeah. Mm.
Oh. I wasn't so sure when I first bit into it. Can I try one more for science?
I'm trying to decide on that. Because I'm going to talk. I'll let you go first, but I'll tell you what this reminds me of.
So it's got a really interesting texture.
I finished mine, that should say something.
It's coated with cashew butter that I think has something added to it so it adheres to the actual nut.
I'm thinking they've taken cashew butter and made a coating like you would do if you did like chocolate covered nuts or something.
It's got a little bit of sweetness to it.
Yeah, it's a little too sweet for my taste.
It's a little too sweet for you. Mm-hmm. It doesn't knock my socks off, but that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's interesting. Here we go with this. Back in the 80s, We go back that far. I don't know about you.
I go back way farther than the 80s.
Back in the 80s. Do you remember when carob
Oh
was
my
all the
gosh!
rage
Yes.
as a chocolate substitute? Now, what's interesting about it is I understand that if you're like a real chocolate connoisseur, you didn't care for carob.
Right.
I am going to say I actually liked carob before it became a rage.
Right.
And one of the things they had come out with was carob-coated cashews.
Oh, I don't remember those at all.
I used to get, you get them in bulk.
Right.
You know, because the stores used to have these bins and
Right.
they had all different kinds of things. And this reminds me of those. Texture-wise.
Absolutely see that, yeah.
Kind of, because it's got the coating that's like the texture of having a chocolate-coated nut, but it's a totally different flavor.
It is.
And it's more like they were trying to use the cashew butter to emulate a white coating.
Yeah. So the texture of that coating, you know what it made me think of? Do you guys remember circus peanuts? Those orange candies?
There's some down in the cabinet right now. My mother loves these.
Oh, does she really? That's what that coating reminded me, texture-wise.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Seemed a little creamier than that to me, but...
Yeah. Again, I wasn't crazy about those, but I didn't hate them either.
Yeah, it's not something I'm going to have to admit I will not buy them again.
Right.
Probably not going to keep them. That's kind of not something I feel like eating any more of. So, but I think I get where they were going with it at least.
Right.
And at least you taste cashew when it says it's cashew, and you're not tasting petroleum.
It's not like the dill.
Yeah, I'd have to give that. I'm not gonna give that I got through the one bite.
Right.
I don't want to take a second. I almost want to give it a 1.5 bites, because if somebody was serving them and the only thing available for me to be able to eat was that, I wouldn't refuse because they're so terrible or anything. But it's not something I would choose.
Yeah, they were all right. I'd give it a 1.5 or a 2. They were all right. Like you said, if I was someplace they were in a snack bowl, I might eat a couple, but I certainly wouldn't want to.
Especially if there wasn't another option
or
something.
Right.
Depends how hungry you get, right? Snackaholics.
Yes.
Where they have that. So I was going to say, just it's interesting because this day the first thing we tried was the best. The caramel, the peanut butter caramel corn.
Yes.
That was the best. I guess at least we didn't end on the worst note.
No, we didn't end with those peanuts.
No. the two things in the middle were oh my gosh.
I don't feel like I have to go out in the yard and eat grass or something to get like a dog to get the taste out of my mouth.
I know.
Awesome.
I know. Gosh, this is always so much fun.
It's great. So
yeah, and I look forward. I hope you're enjoying these with us. Because this is, as I was saying at the beginning, I was like so hyped up because this is probably some of the most fun I have is when we get together and do this. I mean, we are having a great time.
Absolutely.
It is fun. And like I said, I hope you're enjoying it as much as we are. And we'll do this again. We definitely will.
Sounds good.
Okay. I'll see you next time.
We'll see you soon.